Hello and welcome to this first devlog of something that I'm calling just Project RPG. My goal for this basically is just to create a bunch of mechanics, figure out what I can and cannot do and what is and is not within inside the scope of a single person, then go back to the drawing board, make an entire design doc of a game that I would like to make. I've got a few ideas, but for the moment I'm just concentrating on making things work, making them feel the way they should feel. So firstly, I'm just going to switch over to a play window, which should update. There we go. So I can't take any credit for the way the player moves, or this move, or anything along the lines of the player actually moving. This was in a different pack. I can't take credit for, you know, the fact that the collisions work with these buildings and these animals over here. So the first thing I did was these animals will randomly select a location to go in, and then they will move to that location, and then they will stop, and then they'll find somewhere else in a random amount of time, and they should avoid moving into these buildings or into this tree over here, as I've set these up as areas. Technically speaking, I need to do more with this, and there's more information on what I need to do with this in the GitHub, because all my code is all public on this. So in theory, that should be as close as he ever gets to that building. In theory. But I've not actually tried it in practice. Yeah, what he's done there is he's now slightly stuck inside of this area here. It's not necessarily perfect. I think he's stuck in the area anyway. Because the vector in front of him wouldn't be outside of this area. Oh, he's not completely stuck. It's just occasionally trying to go through the building. Okay, so both of these animals here both run on that. They'll also won't go outside a certain area. There's like a spherical area that the point that they choose has to be within. So that's the first thing that I did, so basic AI. The second thing was this camera. This camera here isn't the default camera. It sort of works around orbit, so you can zoom in and zoom out. I think the closest you can get is, well, there is the closest at the moment. Yeah, there's no closest. One thing I added in, if I try to move my camera into some kind of collider, it will automatically scroll the camera in, and as you can see, I can't not have the collider collide against something and it accept it. Not perfect, but I do need to work on the way the ray casting works with this. You might be thinking, therefore, then what happens when you go inside buildings? That door, by the way, was also me. It's not a huge thing, but inside of buildings, it actually commits to the camera in the top corner. So I have added two cameras. If I walk into here, actually a bit difficult to walk into here, there we go, and that's because the way the camera the player works is it actually uses a camera's position to get where it's up, down, left and right is, so it's relative to the camera. My current fix is basically when you move between areas, it just sets the current camera to the one that's being viewed, but that does mean it's a little bit awkward to be able to walk into places, and then when you walk out, you're over here. The camera will zoom in because it's still doing the zoom. So one thing I'm going to have to do is make it so it zooms out. Make it so it continually figures out if there is something in the way, and if there isn't, zoom it out. Additionally, with this door over here, I purposefully made it so the collider, whilst it's moving, doesn't actually work. One thing I'm going to have to do though is to work out, stick some kind of box above the entire thing, so you can't just jump up the entire building, because that's not a thing. That's more of a level design thing, honestly, but yeah, that's something I'm gonna have to do. So that works on both of these buildings. I had to enter in some more coordinates for the door, which is inside of the script that I wrote, but it works. Both buildings work perfectly fine. That door, by the way, automatically closes after a certain amount of time, and that's an option in the script. So the only other thing to do now, so if I press escape, I've got a basic menu, which is very basic, but if I try to punch this tree over here by looking at it, and I need to look directly at it to do it, I think. Why doesn't this work as well? Yeah, I need to work on the forward vectors here, but needless to say, the wood comes into the menu. I think I need to narrow down the actual angle a bit more. Yeah, lot to be done on that one. But if I can somehow get this to eventually break, it will then break I have like 13 wood or whatever it is, and after a certain amount of time this tree will respawn. And these animals... Where's the dog gone? Oh, the dog is now behind the house. So yeah, the dog could escape this area then, clearly, because the ring around the house is like here-ish. It's like down here. So yeah, clearly it could escape. And there we go. Tree has grown again in health. I think it's based on how much it's actually injured, and then how much wood you actually take out of it. And then we've got 20 wood or whatever it is over there. You might notice as well that the pause menu does actually pause things as well. So if I wait for one of these animals to move, they actually pause and unpause, just using time dilation, which doesn't actually apply to this. It also does move the camera up on the floor, but as you saw before, if you go really far under, it doesn't. So I'm going to have to add there is that collider is going to have to go, you know, much further down. Yeah, so I'm going to hop over to my other window over here. So can't take credit for any of the graphical assets used. The only other one that's not in this list over here is the Humble Bundle for the start menu UI. But that will be added in the version when you actually go to it in the link in the description. But in here also is features that I'm working on and reflection on why things don't work, what things don't work, how I need to improve things, and my planned features that I would like to get into place. But yeah, all the code is available for free. I can't obviously grant any license for the code that isn't mine, but I can grant license for code that is mine, which at the moment means you can just take bits of it, but then maybe don't take the entire thing. Let's face it, that would just be lazy. But yeah, that is everything. If I go back over to Unity, these scripts are fairly nice. Like I have actually organised them, like more so than people might assume you might when you're just throwing a project together, you know, using the public variables. If I go over to non-static objects and go into the dog, for example, I have variables in there instead of having them all manually put into it or inside the player controller, for example. Yeah, there's a lot added in here, and if I go over to here, yeah, the inventory is fully linked up and fully working. So yeah, this is my project. Links to the GitHub and my portfolio in the description, and I will catch you in the next devlog when hopefully I fixed some of the camera issues and some of the other issues in here. Thank you very much, and goodbye.